Welcome back to our channel, Technology Review. Today, I have the special pleasure to welcome Vidushi Kapoor, the co-founder of Process9 Technologies here, a company revolutionizing the way business communicates across languages. Vidushi, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jan. It's a pleasure to be here.
Excellent. Before we dive into Process9 work, let's take a step back. Language technology has been tremendous progress in the past decade. From early rule-based translations to AI-driven systems, what do you think has been the most transformative moment in the industry, for the industry?
Well, rightly pointed out when even we started on this journey of building translation models, we also tried a hand with statistical models. They only had a limited amount of quality that they could deliver. But then when we encountered transformer models, that's when we realized that something really transformative and something that raises the equation or raises the field has come into market. And we went and actually adopted transformer models very early on. This is the same technology that actually powers GPT and all the other LLMs. And that's when we saw that it's actually leading to a quantum jump in the quality of translations that we are able to deliver. So yeah, I would call it the transformer models.
Mm-hmm. That's fascinating. And Process9 has been at the forefront, especially in addressing Indian language localization. Which brings me to the next point about the role of innovation of Process9. You have developed a cutting-edge localization technology. Can you tell us a little bit more about MoxVeda and your neural machine translation efforts?
Sure, Jan. So the first technology for Indian languages that we built was our machine translation engine, which is, so all our products are called Mox. So this is Mox NMT. This is the engine, and the API through which you can use this is called MoxWave. Now, MoxWave is the translation API. We call it the unified translation API because you can do a lot more from it than just get translations. And then on top of that, we actually built an ecosystem of supporting products that people can use to access these translations. It's not just easy to connect to an API when you have a website to translate, or you have documents, or you have bots or videos. You require plugins, you require other middleware. So that's what we created. So MoxVeda, that you rightly pointed out, that's the middleware that we've created to localize websites and mobile apps. We've got Mox Words, through which you can translate documents, a whole different variety of documents, but supports about 13 or 15 different format types. Then, of course, you can use it directly as an API. You can use it for videos. You can use it for powering your bots, emails. Yeah, we localize emails too.
Wow. Yeah, we will see all of this in our next video when we really dive into the software and give a little bit of a demo of that. Let us understand better, how do you deal with Indian languages and what is the difference to Google Translate and DeepL?
So for us, if you want to compare, say, MoxWave with Google Translate, or we shouldn't put DeepL into this because DeepL doesn't support Indian languages for one. So again, Google Translate, you don't know what kind of quality you're going to get. You don't get any customization options. You don't get any consistency. When we're looking at a business, they have different drivers for taking translations than, let's say, if you're a tourist and you need help to translate a signboard, or if you're just a freelancer who's looking to ease up their work on a project. A business requires cost reductions, a business requires consistency in quality, a business often has branding guidelines that they need to be very careful about, and of course, a business requires a data security. So with MoxWave, since this is something that we have built, it's a proprietary engine. We're not relying on any other open source technology. So the data security is completely ensured. With MoxWave, you also get access to a translation memory. So you don't have to invest separately in a memory, and you can keep storing and reusing your translations and save up on all of that cost. Then in MoxWave, you can also include your branding terminologies and style guides. So if you want a particular word to always get translated specifically, we can actually add those customizations in MoxWave for you so that you can be sure that you are always going to get a consistent translation that matches the kind of brand voice or tonality that you want to display to your customers. Then, of course, you can integrate it to have to work on your documents, on your websites. It's an entire ecosystem that it supports. And last but not least, we can even fine tune and create custom models for customers. So we've actually done it for a few customers in India where they said that, we have very large translation requirements. Can you make a model for us? And we've done it.
Wow. Yeah, so customization is very important for business and for professional translation in India and also worldwide. Talking about the industry perspective, what is the biggest driver of demand in language technology today? As companies adopting AI localization, are they doing it or are they still hesitant to adopt them?
So actually, very interestingly, in India, Jan, government is a very big promoter and pusher of language technologies. They are coming out and putting guidelines and even mandates for many industries, let's say banking, that you have to be available in multiple languages because India is, well, we're a massively multilingual country. We have, our constitution recognizes 22 languages as official. Of course, if you go culturally, there are about 1,500 or 1,600 dialects that we speak. But the push is actually coming from the regulators. So let's say our central bank, let's put a mandate that if you're a bank and if you are, let's say, if you're giving out loans, the loan agreement with all the key terms should be available in the customer's language so that they are aware of the terms at which they have taken the loan. Or if you're selling insurance, all the terms and conditions, the inclusions and exclusions, there's a summary that's created that should be available in the customer's language. We have e-commerce giants, Amazon, which is not even an Indian company. They have localized in about 12 Indian languages, and Flipkart and Paytm, all the other bigger ones, they have also localized in anywhere from 5 to 12 Indian languages because they see that in India, as soon as you add languages, the demand grows, the traffic grows, the business grows.
Right. So what do you feel for Process 9 is the biggest growth opportunity right now? Is it e-commerce, fintech, government projects, or something else?
So you've actually called out the three biggest sectors that we're serving. So BFSI, or the financial industry, is where we're doing most of our work. We're working with the central bank itself, that's the Reserve Bank of India, some of the largest private and public banks, insurance companies, loan providers, and of course, you're also working a lot with the government and e-commerce. But for us, we'd say that the financial industry is one of the largest demand generators.
Talking about AI, what is the future of translators in this scenario? Do you think they are still relevant? Will it disappear?
No, absolutely, they are relevant. As good as MT becomes, human translators are not going to be losing their importance or significance. There's probably a shift that they will need to be ready for. What machine translation does, or what AI translations enables, it enables a person with the same amount of money to translate a lot more. So it's actually a demand generator. So we need to understand that. This is something that is opening the market, making translations more affordable for people. Now, once you're doing more translations, you're going to need more people to review it. So the work of translators is not going away. They will probably not be translating from scratch. They'll be doing a lot more review work, a lot more quality analysis work. So the work may change. And of course, anyone who's building models or who's training models requires language experts to do the data cleanup, to create the corpora, to check the quality, help fine tune. So the role will change, but they're not going out of business anyway.
Yeah. Would you see translators also pivoting into a sort of implementation consultancy type of thing so that they can help their clients to onboard Process 9 technologies in for their local customers? And
Well, yeah, actually, we are partnering with LSPs in India on similar grounds. But from our perspective, for example, we have an internal team, but they're called language experts. We don't
Mhm.
refer to them as translators because they're not actually sitting and translating content. They're adding value. They're providing their inputs on how the engine needs to be fine tuned. Where are the challenges? Where are the opportunities? And they're helping sort of add value there. So I think that yes, just from translators, they're going to become language specialists, or they're going to become in a more consultative role.
Excellent. What's next for Process 9? Any exciting innovation we should look out for?
Well, yes, we're actually working on our own SLMs now, and also creating some agentic platforms on top of that.
Okay, so this has been super insightful discussions. Vidushi, thank you very much for sharing your experience with me, with us. And if you have enjoyed this interview, don't forget to like it and subscribe, of course, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. We will have another episode where we dive into the actual product of process. Thanks a lot for being today on the show, and see you soon.
Thank you so much for having me again, Jan.
Thank you.